The human wandered through the shanty town that sprung up around the edge of the spaceport, heading for the only decent watering hole he'd found in his 14 days here. This place was a rundown backwater in the dusty asshole of nowhere, a prefab town that had been built to support the spaceport. You could tell from the way all the buildings had the same style, the same level of wear from the sandstorms that kicked around now that the weather control had been switched off. They'd had a few years of boom when they'd found helium-3 in the Great Desert. Coupled with the low gravity and arid conditions, it had been a gold rush for scouts and prospectors as the big mining conglomerates moved in. Eventually the whole planet was bought out, strip mined, and the company moved on, leaving a shell of a world he couldn't even be bothered to remember. It's Serrano del Chucu, which roughly means hollow and empty. The chunk of computer etched into the back of his skull was plugged into his short-term memory, allowing him to pull facts from the database and planetary network. It was meant to free cognition for faster and more complex reactions, but you could also use it to remember all the boring details of your life that you couldn't be bothered to, even though it was a waste of its potential and may lead to lasting psychological damage. Yeah, thanks, Headcase. I'm on a mission to kill my remaining biological brain cells with alcohol. Cutting down a narrow alley between two strange silos, he reflexively checked his survival suit. Part environmental suit, part body armor. It'd help him in a brawl, but mostly he'd trust his sidearm in being the only human in the system. Most of the population were slow metabolism organosilicates with no predatory instincts or hand-eye coordination. Hell, last time he'd gotten a fistfight, he'd spat in the slug's eye and actually blinded it, as water is corrosive to silicates. The patrons were mostly a nervous bat fungus species, so the lights were low, but they at least operated on carbon and water and used alcohol recreationally. He put on his low-light visor and checked his nose tube. Oxygen levels were low, and the place always smelled like a pizzeria for some reason, as the bat guy sweat thallium vapor. He sat down at the bar and motioned the giant mushroom bartender for 2 bottles of the local beer analog. The place was deathly quiet. All the regulars were here, but everyone was sitting stock still. When the bar stool came back, he said, "Weird night tonight. What's up?" The barman puts a large ornately decorated metal flagon down in front of him and nods to the back of the bar. Compliments of the reason everyone's hair trigger wired to run screaming. But no one dared get up, as they're ordered to act natural and carry on as if they weren't there. He looks at the flagon, filled with 3 pints of what smells like neat spirits, or metal polish, then turns slowly and looks where the bar stool pointed. There is a dead space in his perceptions in the back of the bar. It's not empty. Something was actively canceling his sensors, even his vision. Worrying. Picking up the flagon with both hands, he heads towards the empty darkness, trying his best devil-may-care human swagger. The empty space shifts and takes on shapes as he gets closer. People sitting around the back table. Big people. There's a furnace smell of sulfur and it gets warmer suddenly. The shapes are large. Danger, humanoid. Danger, reptilian. Danger, listen to me, danger. Draconian holy mercenaries. Holy expletive. Even without their power suits, they rated as big as a threat as a main battle tank or an orbital strike craft. Just one could level this town and kill everyone in it in seconds without having to engage a cooling system. There were 5 of them. Holy expletive again. 5 massive death lizards. There are 2 empty spaces at the table, 2 empty flagons on the table. One extends a claw and pulls up a smaller chair, make it 8 around the table. Instinctively, he tried to send a warning message to the tactical net, let his crewmates know. The message failed to send, just hanging silently. Carrier not found. Looks like they controlled the local datasphere. You're on your own. Oh well, if they wanted, he would be dead already. They had the range and firepower to do it from orbit. So he smiles and takes his seat. He can almost feel the data link buzzing between them. They're linked so tightly they're basically one being in 5 bodies. The closest speaks, a bass rumble but perfectly understandable. "We heard there were humans here." The others join in, speaking in turn. "We came to see. We came to talk." He shrugs. Polite death machines. Great. "Well, thanks for the drink. Very kind of you. First time meeting a human? We do have a bit of a reputation." "First time. Socially." "Ah." There was a moment's expectant silence. "The other times?" "Less socially. You humans are an unusual species. When outnumbered and outgunned, some species break and beg. Some panic and run. But some of you humans fight on with a grim determination far outweighing your ability." He takes a nervous sip of the flagon, feeling the spirits burn. Did they want to fight? "You know the war towards the hub?" The human nods, his tongue rapidly going numb. "We fought there. A full spear was employed, 3 times the sacred 7. The planet was honored to have so many deployed. We were tasked to wipe out 3 cities, 1 metropolis each. In the last, we found a mistake in our tactical data. The Center for Juvenile Education had been tagged as a military command center. We reported it back, but were told to carry on, wipe it out and move on to the next target. That was where we met the humans. The largest and most decorated leans forward, raising a clawed hand. I asked their commander, as it lay dying, why they fought so hard. To cover the retreat, it said, as there were rules to war and they would not let us break them. Buy time for the juveniles to get to safety. And so you remember our name, it said. So you fear us. The great reptile points to the jagged metallic scales across the side of its face, the neatly repaired scar tissue around the augmented artificial eye. It bears row after row of serrated teeth, showing 3 are diamond ceramic. With a shudder, the human realizes it's grinning. Grinning. Then its mate hit the side of my helm with a surface-to-space anti-ship missile. Cost me my eye and several teeth. We lost 2 that hour, the most lost in the whole planetary campaign. It was glorious. For us, battle is the holiest of sacraments. To have a little pink primate claim there are rules was insanity. Heresy. But then we absorbed the humans' computers, metabolized their brains, read their books. We realized the human rules do not seek to stifle war, but to honor it and those who take part. They were good rules, mostly. Sensible. Honorable. We adopted some, shared them with the faithful. It was agreed that humanity are indeed touched by the divine. The leader puts a small universal data chip on the table. To express our gratitude, and as it is the right thing to do. This is the insignia code of the officer who confirmed the target. The leader takes a long drink from its flagon, then fixed the human with a stare. You have rules of war. Enforce them. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Everything I use is in the description below. If you have a story you'd like to hear narrated, please let me know and I'll contact the author and we'll see if we can make that happen. Thanks again for watching. It's a scary world out there, but remember to look up and seek the stars.